straight into it. We've got the Cowboys next, and a couple of sort of small games in James Tarmo's coming back for a reunion. You've got Jack Guzkowski, or Guzjeski from the Dragons up there as well now, but they've lost players like Tom Gilbert, the Hammer, Ben Condon as well. So a little bit of a mixed bag there. I think it sort of evens itself out, really. What do you think of the Cowboys for 2023?
Yeah, let's just get straight into the Cows with me saying basically, I think they're going to keep where they're at. I think they're going to trend quite well. Like you said, and we'll get to it with the Sharks as well, where if a drop off is predicted by some, I could definitely see where they're coming from, just because look, we were predicting them to be wooden spoons. But then you look at it, and now you're thinking, if you just look at the spine, Drinkwater's he's not New South Wales fullback, not at any stretch, but it's like if Teddy goes down and he's playing better footy than Dylan Edwards, he's in. You got Tom Dearden, who's the next Queensland number 6 after Munster. You got Chad Townsend, who's won a premiership. That guy that everyone was saying would be perfect for the Warriors, but it just didn't plan out when he went there as just organising 7. Turned out that's what he was for the Cowboys. And you got Reece Robson, who's going to be the next in line for the Blues jumper. And then there's lots of storylines like that for the for the backs and for the forward pack, where, look, at the start of the year, you were saying Drinky's not even in your spine. Tom Dearden, he was hyped, but he has these too small. Chad Townsend's pass at Reece Robson just maybe runs it too much. He's just not designed for the game. It's just crazy how a year changes, but I think Toddy has got the best out of them. And I think you forget that how good Valentine Holmes was before he went to NFL. Jason Tamalolo bounced back from a year. It's just all working out, and I think their losses aren't too severe. And even though they lost on the weekend just been to the Broncos, there was still a lot of good there, and it is just a trial as well. Yeah, I'm thinking the Cows, and I've thought about the last couple of days. In terms of strength of schedule, I had a quick look at the strength of schedule lately, and I think they've got a favourable one. And also, they do get hurt a bit by Origin, but I think not too bad. Like, their spine could potentially be left alone. There's a chance Reece Robson gets in there, and Dearden obviously got called up last year. I think there's a good chance that they finished third last year. I would pick them to either be there or over. Yeah. I like their chances, and I think I'm sensing the grand final. Grand final. I just hope their defense is there, because it started to drop off just slightly. But I think the continuity's there. So, I'm liking the Cows this year. I'm liking a lot of their players. I don't see any of their players dropping off. You could say maybe Chad's age, but I think because of his role, they don't need him to do a lot. Just what he's good at. That he doesn't have to overplay his hand. So, I'm liking the Cows.
I'm very similar to you, so I don't want to make this too boring for the listeners, but I feel like the Cowboys will be pretty much right where they were this year. Last year, sorry, they were so disappointed with not making the grand final, where they were so close, got that home semi-final, prelim final, and they just couldn't get across the line to the Eels. But for mine, my question to come back at that would be, is there a slight concern, because they did come from the clouds? They literally, most people this time last year, had them as wooden spooners. Now we look back and we look at their roster and we see the players that they've had, and it's such quality. You sort of sit there and go, well, a bit of egg on our faces, how stupid were we? But it was only a year ago where we thought this roster, because really not much has changed, was a wooden spoon roster. So I know Todd Payton has done such a wonderful job with that club at the moment and really got their players up for it. Is it a possibility that was only a one season, one hit wonder type thing, and they come back to the pack dramatically? Or is it the fact that Payton's actually got them out of this sort of funk, so to speak, and they're able to now produce what they probably should have been producing for the couple of years before that.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I look at it in the sense that it's like a jigsaw puzzle where you've got all these pieces, but it seems like it's going to be very difficult to get it to fit.
Yeah.
And I think Todd Payton somehow got it to fit because you look at, they had a lot of, and like we talked about with Drinky, not being in their starting team, like they had a potential fullback debate with Hamiso and Drinkwater, which Hamiso won at the start of the season. We didn't know where Valentine Holmes was going to be. We didn't know if Tamalolo was going to have a decrease in minutes. We didn't know how legit. And I think just everything's come together just very quick. And I think they know where the pieces fit now.
Yeah.
I think it was just crazy how quick it went together. But I just wonder if the season before was kind of Todd had his master plan, but didn't know. Yeah, we didn't really see it ignited. And then their off season has somewhat become infamous in a way. That is a little concern too. Like it's like you put all this effort into one off season in terms of there was ridiculous stories about their fitness and how grueling it was. I just wonder, hopefully they don't go hopefully they get that right balance this year is what I'm saying. Maybe it's one of those training off seasons that can't be sustained. But yeah, and I've just got to give a shout out because there's a little bit of bias coming from me. One of my good mates, Griffin Neem, is in the team. I honestly think, and see if you agree or not, I think he's in for a big season. He really impressed me in the trial. He had a couple of missed tackles. The error was, I don't know if you see, he was in broken play, and it's like he got a bit of a shock there and had soap in his hands. But I think he was a bit gutted. I know he was gutted about not making the Kiwis. And when I saw Isaac Leal made it in front of him, I thought, oh, actually, that might have been his spot. So, yeah, and I think there's a couple other ones. You got Lukey coming back. I think you did well with his last name before, but the guy from Manly, I think he is going to prove to get a spot in there as well. Tom Chester, Riley Price. They've actually got a good young depth coming in too. Yeah, I'm excited about them. And I think their home advantage is one of the best home advantages in the comp as well.
I was about to make that point as well. I think that's probably the worst away trip you can make, especially because of the quality that they're producing at the moment. You don't want to go up there in the conditions of hot, sweaty, like you're on the field, you're already dripping with sweat, which a lot of teams, especially the big men, won't like. And the Cowboys have a very mobile pack that adjusts really well to that. The only slight concern, I guess, what I reckon Cowboys fans might have is that element of surprise will be gone now, where last year they had that probably the first 10 weeks until teams really started to take them seriously. I know for a fact they versed Para within the first like 6 weeks twice or something, and they got them both times. And I think that was more so that I don't think Para took them seriously, to be honest. I thought they went up there and just thought it was an easy win, where this year teams won't have that. They'll go and look at the calendar and go, we've got the Cowboys. Let's make sure we're on for this game. So that might be the only slight concern. They're just going to make sure they're up mentally from the get-go. They won't have that chance to go, oh, we'll go and just surprise, say, the Broncos at home and we'll just smash them like they did that first game against them last year. So that's the Cowboys.